Hi, I'm standing here with James and Amy. Why don't you, rather than me do all the work, because I'm a lazy interviewer apparently, go ahead and tell us a little bit about some of the projects you've been working on.
I'm James Silvani, and I am the artist on Kaboom Studios' Darkwing Duck.
And my name's Amy Mebberson, and I am also an artist with Kaboom. I have drawn Monsters, Inc., Muppet, lots of Muppet Show, Muppet Sherlock Holmes, lots of covers for Toy Story, Finding Nemo. Yeah, I'm the go-to girl when you need something done. So.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Amy, I could use a little help getting some stuff.
How did you guys get started in the comics business?
I got started because of her. She found my work online and thought I might be good doing some Muppet stuff. So I did for my first project was Muppet King Arthur, and from there moved on to Darkwing Duck, and it's been crazy ever since.
And I started because I'd heard that Boom had this Pixar Muppet license, and I used to work for Disney as an animator in Sydney. And so when I heard about this, I knew one of the editors and said, right, okay, where do I sign up? And he says, yep, okay, just draw some character art, some audition art, we'll get you approved. And the first thing I was put on was Monsters, Inc. And they just kept finding stuff for me to do.
That's a pretty good way to start.
Yeah,
it's not bad. So talk about the transition from then an animator in that style to comics, or the form of comics.
It honestly wasn't that hard for me. I mean, the challenge here was that with Pixar, these are CG comics, which have been the first time they'd been done as from a CG movie to a comic book. So it was a matter of kind of reverse engineering the characters and learning how they're put together and simply drawing them. But it was a fairly natural transition for me. It wasn't really that big a stretch. So I mean, as I said, James is drawing a venerated cartoon series. So so he's. You know, he had the slightly easier task, whereas, and same with Muppets. You had to kind of, again, they're puppets. You have to reverse engineer them. The fundamentals of how the Muppets are built are pretty much similar to animation. So again, it's a lot of fun to do, though. Yeah.
Do you feel any pressure working with already like established iconic characters?
Oh, I'll let James feel that.
I had no idea the reverence that the generation that grew up with Darkwing had for this character. And when I first signed on with Boom, I thought I was signing on just to do Muppets. And when they came around with Darkwing, I said, okay, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And then when it was announced last year here at Emerald City that it was a series, I was just not prepared for that. So it's been quite daunting, but I figure as long as it looks like the show, I'm pretty good.
Daunting but supportive?
Daunting but very supportive. Everybody has been. It's been an amazing ride on with all the love that everybody's showing for the book. So.
Excellent, excellent. And you've had no problem with the Muppets, or it's nothing but positive support, or?
Yeah, again, it's like the Muppets are I said the Muppets are going through a big revival with Disney right now, and they're trying to bring them to a new generation. So a lot of the feedback has been from the old school fans, and again, incredibly supportive of everything we've done so far. Because with the Muppets, there were a few of us working on Muppets. There was me, there was James, there's Roger Langridge, of course. We've all got very different styles, but again, the fans have been great with accepting different styles, as well as Disney have also been very, very accepting of our individual interpretations of the Muppets. So we've been very, very lucky in that regard.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Talking about comics, obviously this is now what you guys are doing, establishing it. Let's go to the way back and start out to the very first comic memories you guys have. What drew you to the field, or what was really the click?
My click was a brother who was 15 years older than me, who gave me all his hand-me-downs. And reading Uncle Scrooge, the Carl Barks collections of Gold Key comics. I would just run through stacks of those. Then I moved on to the 70s giant-sized treasury editions of movie adaptations, and then Spider-Man versus Superman, and Superman versus Muhammad Ali, and those. And then from there, it was Super Friends and Justice League, and I've had no life since then. It's been
My first comic experience goes really way back. I mean, my dad was always a bit of a... He enjoyed the classic comic strips. So I didn't really read comic books so much, but comic strips were my thing. And I remember distinctly as a little girl, my dad had a big book on George Harriman's Crazy Cat. And I would pull that off the shelves time and time again and read it and loved it. And when I was old enough to start reading the newspapers, I latched on very quickly to Garfield and Peanuts. And yeah, to this day, Charles Schulz was one of my idols, and to such that I grew up wanting to draw comic strips. And so I'm close.
I think it's worked out.
I'm working with a cousin, yeah. So that's, like I said, the classic comic strips have been my biggest inspirations. So
usually we like to ask, is there any title that you haven't done or a character you guys haven't had a chance to take on that you would want to? But it seems like just looking at what you guys are already working on, like, it doesn't get better. And not that it has to be a comparison of like better or not, but are there characters out there that you would love to take a stab at or tackle?
Let me get my list.
I am determined to somehow bring Gem and the holograms back again, because It is an injustice that G.I. Joe and Transformers have never really gone away, but the Hasbro Troika is not complete without Gem and the holograms. So I'm going to make this happen someday.
I'm sorry, who? No.
You'll learn. You'll learn.
As far as myself, I mean, I'm always a Star Wars fan, which would be fun, but something with a little sense of humor to it. I love what Dark Horse did with Tag and Bink.
Right.
And I mean, the artwork doesn't get any better than that, so I can't improve on that. But something along those lines. Otherwise, I mean, I'd love to see some kind of Popeye revival and be involved with that. I mean, Fleischer, Seagar, those type of Popeye cartoons where it's just two guys beating the crap out of each other. So that to me is fun comics.
It's amazing to see sort of the retro nostalgia come to light. Like Darkwing, clearly it's back again. Muppets have a huge resurgence of popularity if they ever went away. So yeah, hearing the Gem, which I think is great, and I don't think you're that far off from making that happen.
Yeah.
I see that being totally possible. Look, if Thundercats can come back, I think it's a good thing. Beyond the sort of conscripted stuff that you guys do, are there any independent projects you guys are working on, or do you even get time to do that?
Yeah, I've just started working on a new series with IDW that I can't talk about yet. It is kind of a license, but it's a license for a brand new project, which obviously has not been announced yet. So
is it Gem and the Holograms?
I wish. No. Yeah, so that and yeah, that's pretty much it right now. That and I'm doing a lot of stuff with Ape now as well. There's a whole bunch of new licenses. So it's mostly licensed stuff that I'm working on right now. So.
And you, sir? No pressure.
Yeah. No. Darkwing 24 hours a day at this point. That's what I got going on. So.
Fair enough.
Any minute now, I'm going to have time for that dream project on my own, and as soon as I do, you'll be the first to know.
And if people want to check out your work online or contact you and say, hey, I love you and love what you do, where's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
My website is silvaniart.com.
Okay, and my website is mimisgrotto.com, or you just Google our names. We're pretty distinctive names. You'll find us pretty quickly.
I actually stopped by your website last night and saw the New York Con sketches, the covers, which were amazing to see all these Muppets and like Spider-Man Muppets or Star Wars, like just to see. I'm like, oh my God, that's Kermit the Frog as Spider-Man. That's amazing. Like, there's such a sense of humor to that.
Yeah, no, that's all other people's suggestions. Everyone comes up, and that's always the fun part when someone goes, can you draw Kermit as the 10th Doctor? Or my favorite one was still Sam the Eagle as Captain America.
Which is up on the website,
yeah,
and awesome. Is there anything that's too far over the line? Like, nope, not drawn that?
I'm pretty much okay with drawing anything as long as it stays in the PG range. Right. You know, it's like, and I draw cheesecake as a hobby, so even then, I keep it PG, basically. So that's my limit. But other than that, I think the hardest thing I ever had to draw was someone asked for Kermit as R2-D2. That's on the website as well, I think. That was one of those bizarre things I've ever had to draw in my life. So.
All the characters I draw don't wear pants, so I don't have any restrictions.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's a Disney thing.
They're not as clean as you think they are. Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Backroom Comics Podcast is who we are, coming at you from the Emerald City ComiCon.
Hey, Mr. Record Man, the joke's on you. Running your label like it was 1992. Hey, Mr.